What is going on, guys? It's your boy Dyllan, and welcome back to another Destiny 2 Nightfall guide. This week, I've already pre-recorded the gameplay, so I'm just going to go ahead and talk over it. I forgot to record the voiceover whilst I was playing because I'm a complete and absolute idiot. But anyway, so the Nightfall we're doing this week is the Tree of Probabilities. I'm going to go ahead and just go straight into the card. So the modifiers I was running this week, the handicap, I've got a 40 power handicap, which is a 4.55. I've got Solar Singe, Extinguish, Blackout, and the final one is Match Game. Pretty simple modifiers for a standard high score Nightfall, nothing really too much else to it. So as you can see, I'm just going over my gear right now. I've got the Go Figure, I think I've got my Void Bow yet, Subtle Calamity on, Sleep Stimulant. I'm running like the Healing Well for the Dawnblade subclass, which is just really good for survivability, especially when you're in the boss fight at the very end. I've also got Lunafaction Boots on, just because, like I said, being able to reload your weapons whilst you're standing in the rift is just pretty OP. I was running this with just one buddy of mine, and yeah, so we two-manned it. You can actually solo 100K Nightfalls as well. I might actually start soloing them every single week, just so, you know, it's more of a challenge for me. But yeah, we'll just have to wait and see what happens. So as you can see, I'm just going over his gear. He was running like Night Stalker with an arc bow. So what we tried to do was I used a Void Bow and a Solar Heavy with a Solar subclass, and then he used a Void subclass, and then he had an Arc Bow, so he could pop the Arc Shields. First thing you're going to want to do as soon as you spawn, in my personal opinion, coordinate who's going to go to the left and who's going to go to the right. My buddy always usually goes to the left, and I split off to the right. There's enemies on both sides, so you want to kill them all so you can get points for killing all of the enemies. Take your time to go through, don't rush too far ahead. There is a couple of turrets and they do absolutely shred. Also, if you get too close to the Cabal with all of their art blasters going off, it gets pretty hectic pretty quickly. So in my opinion, I'd just ease your time through it, and like I said, there's no need to rush it whatsoever. I think my shot was pretty bad in this Nightfall as well. I made a couple of mistakes and I had my aim was just absolutely trash. Like I said, I've been playing a lot of third-person games recently as well, so every time I come on Destiny, it's just really weird playing an FPS again. So what I like to do on this bit is hop up on the ledge. As you can see, my buddy was on to the left side of me, on the other ledge on the other side. We both hop up there, pop the turrets. I hop down here a little bit too early because I'm an absolute fudge muffin. But anyway, we managed to do it, no problem. You're going to need someone with an arc shield here to pop the Colossus' shield, which is on the stairs. Now, be very, very careful for the arc blast. That deals a heck of a lot of damage, so do be warned. And yeah, continue forward and move through the portal. What was that? 10 paces. I ended up actually deleting that as well, so yeah. Complete an absolute trash roll on it.
The geometric data I'm reading from this architecture. It's subtly shifted.
Slowly go through. This is awkward. There's nothing really to say.
In the forest, life itself is in flux.
I don't like it.
I love these stairs on this strike as well. I love using the stairs, especially when you're on a warlock and you just bounce forward. Get high-fived.
Good luck.
So when you get into this bit, again, take your time. You don't need to rush through it. Like I said, one of the main things I always see people doing when they do a high score Nightfall is they always rush into the enemies. They get one hit meleeed because Blackout's on. They just play it too aggressive. You're not in the normal strike playlist, so just sit back, pick enemies off, slowly move forward, rinse, repeat. Pick them off as you go. Bow and arrows. If you're wondering why I'm using a bow. Bows are really, really good for high score Nightfalls. At least in my opinion, you can one-shot a lot of the low tier ads, especially with the Subtle Calamity, which is the bow I'm using. Definitely recommend using a bow if you have one. And yeah, I mean, there's nothing really too much else to say. That bows just absolutely shred. Again, be very careful with the war beasts if you do end up having any in your Infinite Forest. Now, your Infinite Forest may be completely different to mine because, again, it's randomly generated in the Infinite Forest, so, if you get a different tile set, unfortunate, but just slowly work through them and you shouldn't have too much of a problem. Again, anytime there's like a ledge where you can sit up high and rain down on the enemies, I'd definitely recommend it. Just basics of an FPS game, you have the height advantage, you know, you can just back up if you get really weak and you can use the floor as cover. So yeah, I mean, anytime you got the height advantage, definitely recommend using it. As you can see, I jumped down maybe a little bit too early and almost died because I got meleeed by the Scion, which put me to one shot, and then he sniped me again, which made me extremely weak. So do be careful when jumping down. I think I actually die when I go over into this next area here anyway, so again, I was just rushing through it, wasn't really paying too much attention. Those phalanxes are so frustrating. On console, bows are really weird as well. The aim assist is so frustrating. It is just mind-boggling, which I'll show you guys towards the end of the strike. But as you can see there, I should have just not pushed up as much. I should have backed off, regened my health, maybe even put my healing rift down, as I am a warlock. But yeah, I just completely brain farted and just didn't think. So yeah, don't do me. I ended up turning around just sniping that wizard with my sleeper just because I got really frustrated because I died. Temper tantrums. I'll go ahead here, use my sleeper just to get rid of these Centurions. Now, every time you do, say like a high score Nightfall, I'd always recommend flying down to a planet and picking up the public event beacon just so you've got all of the max ammo. You know, you've got max heavy ammo so you can use it at the start of the strike, and then you can pick it up as you go. That's just a little tip for you guys if you didn't know that you could do that. I've got that knight is aggro as hell on me. I think that's the last sort of like little area. Now we get into the sort of main area of the strike. Amen to that. Point blank little shot. Melee didn't register because, you know, melee registration in 2019 now is lame. I ended up moving over to the right here, mainly because I knew the knights were behind us. My mate ended up staying to the left and ended up getting boomered by the knights from behind. So again, if you're going to leave one or two enemies, just make sure you're playing it a little bit safe. As you can see, the score what I run right now, 70,000, which is more than good enough at this point in the strike. Again, I almost died here because I was playing like an idiot. I should have stayed back and just bowed the enemies from a distance rather than just charging in like an absolute madman. Again, I just wasn't really playing too serious. So yeah, climb up the stairs. I think turn around, miss a shot here. Yeah. Oh wow, no, I actually got it in one. Fair enough. My aim ain't all that bad then, I guess. Slowly going through the triangle hallway. It's so much more awkward when you're doing a voiceover of your gameplay. It's better when it's just live, because I don't really know what to talk about in the little filler gaps. So yeah, as you can see, using the ledge at the start just to try and snipe a few of the enemies. Once you get the main bulk of them cleared at the front, you can start to push up and start to take other ones out at the distance. Watch out for the Centurion because they are really annoying. As you can see, he shot me twice from a distance. Sleeper does them in one shot. And yeah, back to the Void Bow. I absolutely love the bow and arrows in this game. The one redeeming factor, if anything, for Forsaken for me was the bows. The bows alone, absolutely amazing. Bungie always do such a good job, in my opinion, on, you know, the weapons and how they feel and how they shoot. So this bit, you could just drive past these enemies if you wanted to risk it. We didn't, just because Sparrows are extremely squishy, and you could possibly get one shot off of them. So that's why we just took our time, just pegged them, and slowly made our way through it. I think we get off again here and kill a couple of these enemies. So again, the reason I drove around there and sort of got an angle on the Colossus just because it's just a lot easier. So whilst I'm shooting him in the face, I can shoot him in the back. That's those dead as well. Again, we got off there just in case we got art blasted to death by those Cabal, just because, like I said, Spars are extremely weak, and it's just not worth the risk, because if we both die, we both go to orbit, so just be very, very careful.
I can't tell these Cabal apart from the real thing.
What's the difference? Vex simulations can kill. These copies have the same goal as their counterparts.
So for the score, I think, as you can see, we've got 96,000, which is pretty decent. Now the thing I was mentioning with the bows before, about the aim has just been weird on console, it's so annoying on Vex when you aim at the crit spot on the Vex and it magnetizes towards the body. It's one of the most frustrating things to deal with the bow in PvE. And then if you shoot the goblins in the body, then they crouch, and then you got to shoot them in the face, and then they stand up, and then you can kill them. It's very annoying. So as you see, I just got frustrated at this point. I just got my pulse rifle out, decided mowing them down with that, just because it was a lot easier. Now this Harpy guy, you can leave him if you want to. I think I ended up killing him in a little bit just because I had lots of sleeper ammo spare, so I just ended up shredding him and getting him dead. Also because I'm missing an emblem that the wanted enemies drop in the strikes as well, so still trying to get that, but RNG just isn't on my side in this game anymore, so... So as you can see, we're slowly picking them from a distance. Watch out for the hobgoblins that will snipe you from a distance. The major minotaur at the end, make sure you got a void weapon to take his shield out also. It can be pretty annoying. Again, we could have just completely skipped these enemies. We didn't need to kill them. We already had over 100k. So it's up to you guys whether or not you want to skip this part. Depending on the score, obviously, that you have at this time within the strike and your time. Yeah, if you get to this point a lot later than we do, your score may be slowly decreasing. I think that's when you hit 15 minutes, is it? Your score starts to slowly decrease. So depending on how much score you have and what your time is at, that'll probably depend on what you do. So for this bit, we saw that we had well over 100k, we just had 122,000, so I ended up popping my Well of Radiance down, using Lunafaction boots, and just absolutely shredding them with our supers and our heavies. And we just melted him in the first room. Again, you don't have to do this, you can take half his health off or a bar of his health off, and then just slowly work your way through if you want to. But again, we just didn't really feel the need to, so we just melted him straight away and got him out of it. Tether on this as well is really handy if you've got a Hunter on your team. Tether is very, very useful for high score Nightfalls, especially when you're going into the higher limits as well, power handicap. So I think what I'm going to start doing, maybe starting from next week, is I might actually start soloing the high score Nightfalls as well. Depending, I'm not really too sure, but we'll see what happens, we'll see how it goes. We're pretty much at the end of the strike now anyway, we've just got to get into the final room. So I'm just going to shut up talking now. Hopefully this helps you get the Nightfall done this week. Thank you so much for watching, have an awesome rest of your day as always. Till next time, peace.
Osiris would send his thanks, but he's already knee-deep in another simulation.
Of course he is. We know the way out. Try not to glitch any more Cabal into existence.